was better for me.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're recording. Hi, Colleen.
Hi, Pat. How are you?
Good. Happy Sunday. I thought it was kind of a timely topic for us because tonight is Oscar nights, Oscar 2021, which is super weird
93rd.
one because it's April 25th and they're never usually this time of year.
So
And it is typically something that you and I look forward to every year.
and it's always the race to see them all and make
Yeah.
sure that we've seen them. I remember one year you sent me just to make sure that I did. I got like you sent me like an AMC gift card and said like, go see the rest of them. Like it's always been that race. And now I haven't
Well,
seen
it's
it.
like it was funny as a little kid, that wasn't what I fell in love with watching the Academy Awards because we lived in a town, as you can remember, 2 movies, 1 theater, and if the movie was popular, like Smokey and the Bandit, it was going to be there for 6 months. So there was no way in hell that you were ever going to have the opportunity to see these movies. It just wasn't a possibility. So I used to, as a little kid, it was the night that I could stay up by myself and I would sit and I would watch them. And I think to me, I fell in love with probably the speeches. Must have been the speeches. It's all I can think about. Because I do joke to this day that I always have one planned in my head. I always have my Academy Award speech and who I would thank. But what do you remember being the thing you loved about it?
Well, you kind of stole mine. I hate to be that cheesy person, but it's definitely the speeches. Like I can go back and like tell you like points of time, like, Tom Hanks in Philadelphia and Jessica Lange's in Big Sky and Halle Berry's for Monsters Ball. There's just ones that completely and that way further back, as a little kid, those were as an adult even or but even back like and crying, I remember like that.
Well, and like for me, it was like I think I used to get literally sick to my stomach with who I wanted to win, and it's so different now because there's so many of these shows that you don't have the level of surprise anymore that you used to. You kind of know the front runner, but I used to literally get sick in my stomach if there was one in particular. Typically one that I saw, if you were lucky to have seen them all. A lot of times I think it was just on, magazine articles or celebrities that I might have liked.
But it kind of did the opposite then too. Like if they won, because you hadn't seen it, then you really were waiting for it to come so that you could eventually see.
Well, because it would be that resurgence where you knew that the local art theater was likely to get it back, like a
right
or whatever. But
a nugget.
and over time, it was my big, to your point about the AMC gift card, it was always my personal goal that I was going to have seen all the acting and all the pictures. That was like a given. I had to, and in the movie theater proper. And that was always, sometimes my shrink would say, too hard a goal that I would put on myself because it's like Christmas cards. I would get really freaked out if I hadn't and almost exhaust myself to have seen them all. But that being said, and now that we're in this very strange year, have you seen any of this year's nominees?
I have not. I've seen previews. Like I went through and watched previews the other night thinking I at least have to watch some previews. I'm not going to watch the Oscars tonight. But I did watch some of the previews. I watched Promising Young Woman. I watched Nomadland, which I really want to see both of them, especially Nomadland. The father looks incredibly sad. How about you?
I have not seen any of them. The only nominee that I've seen, and it wasn't because of any quest, it was Maria, what's her name from Barat, the one that plays his daughter.
She's charming. I love her.
She was amazing. I always think I love when somebody that is coming from a comedy place makes their way into that category. I always have a soft spot for that, and she was phenomenal. But
yeah, I hope she does a lot more. I was because that was definitely pretty. We talked about Pigeonhole before. That like really put her like in this one little spot, but she was phenomenal. That's the only one I think I saw.
So why do you think that is? Why do you think that is?
Why
But
do
you
you
haven't
think?
seen any of them. Why do you think that is?
Well, for one, like, I'm not going to the movies.
But a lot of these were available on streaming, and a lot of them were available to view at home. And
I don't know if they're because
certainly you probably had half of them that you could have seen based
I
on.
could have seen them. I could have, but I don't know if it's I guess maybe it was it out there. Like I didn't even hear the chatter about it as much as I normally would. Um, we didn't talk about it throughout as we normally would. Like we,
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
don't know what it was. I don't know if I'm just predisposed to not think of streaming as the first place to go to see this type of content. So I don't think that I'm logging into Netflix and Hulu saying, oh, let me go see that nominee. And plus, to your point, I don't really remember any real buzz or consciousness about it, in any way, shape, or form. It could be that I'm not listening to podcasts the way that I used to, because I do know that I listen to, award show recaps all the time, or the people that talk about nominees. But I think, to me, it was probably the fact that I don't think of television as the way to see an Academy Award winning movie. I feel like you need to see that in a theater. And I know that makes
And I have desperate last ditch watched a video of like the day of the Academy Awards. I watched I watched it streaming in the past. But not that, but it was like a desperate measure because I had gone and I was exhausted from going to so many movies that finally I was like, okay, I've just got to watch this, and because I couldn't find it anywhere. Yeah, it's just not as fun. I think that really is what it comes down to. It's not the movie experience. It's really hard. I hope things change. I love that when you were in New York, you went and saw a movie, real time.
Yeah, and not to get off topic, but I do know there was a level of concentration I had when the lights went down in that movie theater, and it was the type of movie that I think that was art house and the type of thing that I'll still go to a movie theater for. I don't know if these awards things are going to become niche. Like, is it a thing of the past? Does anybody even watch them anymore? And is it going to just be a handful of people that went and saw a movie at the Angelica Theater in the Village in New York City, and those are the type of people who are going to watch that? I, like you, will not be watching tonight, which makes me a little sad. But again, I also have a problem with anything virtual. I don't want to see accepted speeches from your couch or anything like that. But
I don't want to think that they're in this beautiful top and they have their pajama bottoms on the bottom either. The red carpet is another part I really do love. I know the glitz and glamour and the expense is a little bit controversial, but I love the dresses.
So as we wrap up and we looked through some of these movies that we obviously have not seen, what is the one that you think, or what one are you going to see? Which one do you think, now that we've kind of like looked at the list, you're going to see first? And it doesn't need to be the best picture. It can be somebody from the acting roles.
Okay, I think that the one that I really want to see the most is probably Sound of Metal or Nomadland.
And I would be right up there with Sound of Metal. And I don't know why. I think that the next one behind that for me would be Mank, just because that's probably the only thing I've really, really heard about. And I think it's one of those titles that makes you think it's some horrible, boring movie. So that's probably where I would go. So anything else?
No, I hope that people comment on this and let us know what you've seen, what you like. That would be.
What are these two talking about? But no, this is great fun. And who knows, maybe I'll pop in, or once I see I can't say that I won't go back into some of the viral content that'll exist after tonight and watch some of this stuff. But I don't know that I have it in me to watch, somebody twirl in their living room or
I
whatever.
definitely can't. There's too many other things to do besides do like, watch that. Sorry.
Exactly. All right. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye, Pat. Love you.